Hi everyone, this is Ellen Cisneski, and for this video tutorial I'm going to be demonstrating how to make a weaved ribbon cover for a 6x6 mini album. So to start off, you're going to need a 6x6 piece of chipboard, and you're going to need to make sure that the holes are punched right away. And we are going to be using some May Arts ribbon. This is twill stripes, and we have it in a variety of different colors. And then we also have some twisted burlap that we're going to be using as well. And to start off, you're going to want to cut these into 8-inch strips, okay? So I have quite a few of those. I've got my twill stripes, and I've got my base. So first up, we're going to need some adhesive on here. So I went ahead and I put some adhesive down here along my binder because we're going to be using, making kind of a faux binder towards the end of the video. And we'll get to that later, but you're probably wondering why there's some adhesive there. So we're going to work on this side because it's a craft side, and if any of this comes through, I want to see more of a natural tone, so that's why we're not going to use this white side. That's going to be our back. Okay, so go ahead and adhere some ribbon adhesive here. I'm using Glue Arts ribbon adhesive, and I went ahead and did that already, and on the top and the bottom I removed the cover. So for the sides, just leave those on for now. We're going to get to those at the end. But if you take them off now and you start touching it, you're going to lose some of your adhesive quality. Okay, so take one of these 8-inch strips, okay, and you're going to start. I like to measure here with my pencil so I know where to begin with my weaving. Okay, so go ahead and put a little piece here. We're using 8 inches because we want to have a little overlap, because they're going to hold a lot better if you have some overlapping like this. Okay, so then if I turn it over, the front's going to look like this. All right, and we're going to do that again, and we're going to do it all along the entire front cover of the mini album, because this is what is going to keep our ribbon together as we weave it. And these don't have to be equidistant apart. You can make some of them larger, like this. See how this one's almost an inch? Okay. And I'm just going to get the rest of these on here. The great thing about this is you don't have to measure. Now I know some of you might like to measure and have them the same distance apart. That's fine too. Okay. Couple more. Another one here. And this one is a little loose, so I'm going to have to do that one again. And that's alright. We're going to, if these come off, that's no problem. Just go ahead. We just need them to stay tacked on until we put the inside cover on. Alright? That looks pretty good. Okay. Then, take a piece of ribbon. Okay, again, this is the twill stripes. And what I do is I like to have an angled corner like this because it's going to help me grab it with my fingers as we're weaving it easier than a straight edge like this would. Okay, so next up, we're going to take each one of these ribbons and we're going to start weaving them in and out of the twisted burlap. Just like this. Over, under, over, under. Oh. Over, under, okay? So that one's going to go up along the top like this. And then I'm going to pick another color. I'm going to use this green. And since I went under on this one, I'm going to go over on this green one. And the same thing, over and under each piece of twisted burlap. So you can see I'm starting to get a weaved effect here. So go ahead and finish doing that for the entire piece of the 6x6 chipboard, and then when you're done with that, go ahead and trim off the sides. I like to work with the longer pieces because the shorter pieces sometimes will move back and forth and it can get frustrating. Okay? Okay, so when you're done weaving your ribbon, this is what it's going to look like. Okay? So just make sure when you're done, you go ahead and trim. And you can have a little excess off of here. We're going to even trim these down a little bit more, but this will just give you a good idea of what it's going to look like. Okay, and then there's the back and our front. So next up, what we need to do is we're going to need to fold all these over to make a nice edge. So go ahead and take this piece of adhesive off, okay? And now just start taking these and folding them over to adhere along this side. And by folding them over instead of just trimming them, you're going to have a really nice edge, and you don't have to worry about them fraying either, okay? So go ahead and finish this up on this side. So now you have a really nice edge along there. And we're going to pull this tighter here, so that way we'll get it nice and tight. But that's going to give you a good idea. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing over here, but you're going to notice these are going to be different because the holes are here. Alright? So take your adhesive off of here, your protecting piece. Hold on one second. Let's start on this side first. There we go. Now these we're going to have to do one by one because of the front. Alright, so go ahead and make sure they're pulled really nice and tight. Okay, and then this one is going to be over our hole. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to trim this one down. Okay, again, pulling it nice and tight so we're all lined up. And you might even need to trim it down a little bit more, and that's fine. I'd rather have a little bit extra instead of trimming it too short, because then we'll have to start over. There we go. Okay, and we're going to do the blue one. And again, pulling tightly. Okay, so you get the idea. Go ahead and finish this up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now we've adhered the ribbon to the back side, and this is what it'll look like. So now you have a really nice edge here instead of a frayed one from cutting it. Okay, and then we trimmed here so that we can fit our holes, our binder clips through here at a later time. You might notice here that some of these look a little loose. That's okay. Just come back here again and pull them tight. We're going to be putting more adhesive on here, so you don't have to worry about moving that around. And I think they all look pretty good. They all look pretty tight. Okay? So the next step is going to be, what we're going to do is we're going to finish this off. Now I went ahead and cut and stitched this. This is 6 by about 1.5 inches, and I positioned it earlier so that my holes are all lined up and ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere that down there, so now we have a really cool binder there. And since we pre-stitched it, unless you have an industrial strength sewing machine, there's no way you're going to be able to stitch through all this ribbon and all this chipboard. So this is just a really easy way to make it look like you spent a lot of time stitching. Okay, so let's just put some adhesive on here. Again, I'm using my May Arts ribbon adhesive. And I'll stick this one here. If you've used this before, you know a little bit goes a long way. So go ahead and pull that one off. And this one, and then we're just going to go ahead and line this up and adhere it right over our holes. Okay. Looks like this pink one needs to be pulled a little bit tighter. Alright. Alright, now we're going to work on the back because obviously we want to cover all this up and make it look nice and pretty. And if some of these are a little bit longer, you can go ahead and get in there and trim those. You don't have to, but they might make things lay a little bit flatter for you. So right here I have a piece of Coordination cardstock. It's really sturdy, and I did the same thing. I went ahead and pre-stitched it. Now I'm going to have to go punch those holes in, and that's not a problem. But we're going to need more adhesive here. So put some more adhesive down on the top, and you're going to need to press really, really hard on here to make sure it's nice and sticky and stays, because some of these guys, since we've been repositioning them, are moving around. So go ahead and do that on all 4 corners and adhere it down. You might even want to put a little bit of adhesive in here, and you're going to go ahead and put that on there so you have a really great backing to this. And then you have an awesome looking cover for your mini album. Okay.